Hey gang, thank you so much for joining Two Texas Lobsters React. I'm Trace. I'm alone today, but as you can see, I've got some chairs set up because we have some special guests coming soon. You'll see those videos in the near future. And today, I am very excited to bring to you Napoleon's Revenge, Wagram 1809. Very excited. Thank you so much for recommending these videos to me. Man, I'm so nervous to watch this, but I know it's going to be good. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us out a lot. We have about 95 subscribers right now. I'm expecting to hit 100 this week. Great milestone for us. But we want to start doing some giveaways. We want to start doing some laptops and some e-readers and just really give back to the community. The only way that we can do that, though, is that if we become monetized, which means we have to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and you can help us get there by subscribing. Each week we have about 1,000 viewers per video, but we only have 95 subscribers. So everyone that's watching, if you can just go right now, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, like and share, we'd appreciate it. Without any further ado, let's get on into Napoleon's Revenge, Wagram 1809.
In May 1809, the Austrians had defeated Napoleon's army in the bloody Battle of Aspern. His enemies took heart. After years of French military dominance, it seemed the tide was turning at last. 3 weeks later, Pope Pius VII excommunicated Napoleon for annexing papal land. Another propaganda coup for his enemies. But in the wake of its victory, Austria hesitated, not sure whether to seek peace or continue the war, while Napoleon responded with a hurricane of activity. He summoned reinforcements to join him near Vienna, the army of Italy under his stepson.
Why did Austria wait when they... Seems like they could have crushed him at that point, right? So we watched Napoleon fail in 1809 with Austria. Why did they wait? Put down in the comments if you know, because honestly, if Austria and France could have teamed up, look at all they could have done together. They were both formidable. They could have, if they had wanted to, they could have taken everything. Why did Austria wait? Maybe this video will tell us.
Son Eugène de Beauharnais and 11th Corps under Marshal Marmont, who'd together driven Archduke John's Austrian army out of North Italy, as well as Marshal Bernadotte's Saxon 9th Corps. Napoleon's army grew from 90,000 to a massive 164,000 men and 544 guns, to take on Charles's army of 128,000 and 414 guns. 6 weeks after his first attempt had ended in defeat, Napoleon ordered his army to cross the river once more. This time his engineers had built solid bridges across the Danube to ensure there was no repeat of the disasters of Aspern.
Austria knew it was coming.
For the French army, Napoleon declared, the Danube no longer exists. The stage was set for the largest battle yet seen in European history.
Wow, I'm excited.
If you think our Napoleon series has made you a master of tactics and strategy, put your skills to the test in Vikings War of Clans, generous sponsors of this video. Napoleon's rules of concentration of force and decisive action will serve you well as you battle for dominance alongside up to 3 million other users in a single event. This is highly addictive military and resource-based mayhem that caters for many styles of play. Build yourself a medieval Maginot line and await enemy assault, or play like Napoleon and launch your own Berserker Blitzkrieg before the enemy knows you're coming. Use the link in the video description to download Vikings for free, support the channel, and get a special bonus of 200 gold coins and a protective shield that may just save your life. Thanks again to Vikings War of Clans for supporting this video.
Whoa.
On the evening of the 4th of July, in heavy rain, the French began crossing from the island of Lobau, not towards the devastated villages of Aspern and Essling, but east towards Gross Enzersdorf, which was soon ablaze from French shells. Archduke Charles had left only a small advance guard to delay the French. By dawn, General Massena's 4th Corps and Oudinot's 2nd Corps were driving those troops back, winning space for the French army to deploy. At 1 p.m., Napoleon was ready to begin his advance across 6 miles of flat cornfields towards the main Austrian position, an escarpment known as the Wagram, 100 meters behind the Russbach stream. As General Lasalle's light cavalry and Massena's 4th Corps swung left to guard the flank, Oudinot's 2nd Corps and Davout's 3rd Corps.
The French are meaning business. I mean, you can just tell by the way they are moving in that they want to kick the Austrians' butt. But the Austrians, that's... I'm not a great tactician. Come on, man. I mean, I'm an RN. What do I know about war? But that's where I would have chosen. Look where the Austrians are. Look at that. I mean, that's exactly where I would have chosen. Right behind the river. High ground, as high as I could get. But you can tell the French are moving in like a cat stalking a mouse. It's going to be bad.
Advanced towards the Wagram. Bernadotte's Saxon Corps and Eugene's Army of Italy filled the center. At 6 p.m., unsure of the enemy's strength, Napoleon ordered a full-scale assault against the Wagram Plateau.
That's bold.
But his troops met determined Austrian resistance along the line. By dusk, the Saxon 9th Corps had pushed into the village of Deutsch Wagram. The Saxon infantry wore white uniforms, like the Austrians, and as darkness fell, were mistaken for the enemy and fired on by friendly units. The Saxons panicked and fled with heavy losses. Napoleon's attempt at a quick breakthrough had failed. That night,
all because
both
of the
armies slept.
All because of the color of their uniform? I mean, that triggered it. That was definitely a part of it, right? Wow.
In the open, while Charles and Napoleon planned their next moves. On the second day, Napoleon planned for Davout's 3rd Corps to lead the attack, rolling up the Austrian flank, while his other corps pinned down the enemy with local attacks. But to the Emperor's fury, he learned that overnight, without orders, Marshal Bernadotte had withdrawn his battered Saxons from Aderklaa, which the Austrians now occupied. Aderklaa was a crucial strongpoint in the center of the battlefield. Napoleon gave orders for its immediate recapture, but the French and Saxon attack failed, with heavy losses. The Austrians had their own problems. Archduke Charles, knowing he faced a superior enemy, had decided his only chance of victory lay in an all-out dawn attack. He was relying on his brother, Archduke John, reaching him with 13,000 reinforcements, in time to support the attack on the left.
That's really not all that
By
many,
dawn,
is it? That's just like at best, what would that be? A flank, right? I mean, that's just a flanking attack. Maybe a distraction. That was a lot to gamble on with 13,000 men. Come on, man.
there was still no sign of him.
And he didn't show,
What's
right?
more, as 4th Corps began its assault on Grosshofen, on time, 3rd Corps, which had received its orders late, was still getting into position, holding up the entire Austrian right wing. Charles had to tell 4th Corps to abort its unsupported attack until the other corps were ready. With the Austrians paralyzed...
That was a bad move. That was a bad move. Now Napoleon knows that they're ready to move, and they didn't. It failed. There's a reason why, and now Napoleon knows something has gone wrong. Oh, man.
By delays, at 10 a.m., Davout began his attack. A fierce infantry battle erupted in the village of Markgraf Neusiedl, while in the fields, dragoons and hussars fought a giant whirling cavalry battle as each side tried to outflank the other. Davout's corps took the village, though they couldn't stop the Austrians withdrawing to a strong new position on the Wagram escarpment. Meanwhile, a serious threat had developed to Napoleon's left flank and rear. Klenau's 6th Corps had driven back the outnumbered French, with some units advancing as far as Essling, dangerously close to Napoleon's vital river crossings. Napoleon urgently needed to reinforce his left flank.
Man, my hat is off to the Austrians, man. Come on, this is the best battle I have seen in the series. Are you amped up? I'm amped up. Wow. I mean, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get to the next one. I'm so excited.
But he was also determined to hold back his reserves for a decisive attack. So he ordered Massena's 4th Corps to march across the battlefield and reinforce the left. A huge redeployment like this, right in front of the enemy, was high risk. So Marshal Bessieres was ordered to lead a cavalry attack straight against the enemy centre. Casualties were high. Even Marshal Bessieres had his horse killed under him, to the alarm of his men. But the enemy was kept busy, while 4th Corps completed its redeployment and forced Klenau's corps to fall back.
Wow! Can you imagine? Can you imagine your leader saying that? That is hard as nails cold, man. Any trooper who isn't dead by 30 is a coward. And I don't anticipate exceeding that length of time. He was 33. So he did exceed. But wow, man, he just put it all in there, didn't he?
Napoleon now assembled a grand battery of more than 80 cannon in the center of the battlefield. This was one of Napoleon's trademark tactics, a concentration of artillery to blast the enemy line and pave the way for a decisive French attack. The grand battery fired an estimated 15,000 rounds, setting light to the cornfields. Around 1 p.m., Napoleon ordered a general attack. As Davout continued to batter at the enemy flank, 4th Corps would advance on the left, 2nd Corps on the right, while in the centre, General MacDonald would lead forward 8,000 men of the Army of Italy, formed up in a giant three-sided square to secure his flanks. But despite the terrible French cannonade, Austrian 3rd Corps and Grenadiers of the Reserve met the French advance with torrential fire. MacDonald's giant square was cut to pieces, its men mowed down en masse by cannon fire.
That's awful.
The attack stalled. But the Austrian army, battered by relentless French attacks, was near breaking point. Every part of the line was under pressure from the French. Archduke Charles, determined above all to keep his army intact, ordered a retreat. The Austrian withdrawal was disciplined and well executed. Napoleon had his victory. But his army was also so shattered by fatigue and heavy losses, it was unable to launch any effective pursuit.
See now, okay, so he has learned some respect for the Austrian army. Let's go back just a tiny bit here. Okay. It's obvious that you were not at Wagram, Napoleon, to a minister who mocked the Austrians. He learned respect for them. Yeah, for sure.
The Battle of Wagram was a brutal slugging match, the biggest and bloodiest battle yet seen in European history. French victory came at unprecedented cost. An estimated 37,500 casualties against 41,500 Austrian. 4 days later, French troops caught up with the retreating Austrians at Znaim. As the fighting escalated, Charles knew he could not withstand the French a second time and asked for a ceasefire. But he had not consulted his older brother, Emperor Francis, who was furious when he heard the news, not least because long-awaited British support.
We have another lobster in the house. Come on in. Join the game late.
I did. I had some things to take care of.
So we're watching. This is the best battle, Napoleon's Revenge. Mm-hmm. He got his butt kicked in 1809 by the Austrians. Yeah, well, I mean, he did it, but he got it kicked once before too. But this, he's coming back and he's going to teach the Austrians a lesson. So anyway, let's get on into the last little bit here.
Was finally on the way. 3 weeks after the Battle of Znaim, the largest amphibious force Britain had ever assembled, 35 ships of the line and 39,000 troops landed at Walcheren Island on the Scheldt estuary. Its aim was to destroy French shipping and naval stores. But following the successful bombardment and capture of Vlissingen, British commanders let the initiative slip from their grasp. Their force was bottled up by French troops on the marshy Dutch coast, where it was decimated by fever and dysentery. About 4,000 died. Many more became permanent invalids.
Wow. God.
The survivors were evacuated back to England in December. Emperor Francis, informed of the British debacle and persuaded by his generals that Austria couldn't fight on, made peace with Napoleon.
Yeah.
In October, Austria signed the Treaty of Schönbrunn, giving up territory to the French Empire, Bavaria, Saxony, the Duchy of Warsaw, and Russia. In total, the Austrian Empire was stripped of 3.5 million subjects, forced to pay an indemnity, limit its army to 150,000 men, and join Napoleon's continental system, which meant ending all trade with British ships and merchants. Archduke Charles, meanwhile, one of Napoleon's more skilled opponents, had fallen out so bitterly with his brother, Emperor Francis, that he never held active command again. Napoleon had won another crushing victory, but there were worrying signs for the French Emperor. His enemies were learning, while he would increasingly have to rely on young conscripts to fill the gaps left by veterans killed or wounded on campaign. Few could have guessed in 1809, but Napoleon had just fought his last victorious campaign.
Oh, wow. That's heavy.
You can now support Epic History TV.
That was really good. I enjoyed it. I'm sorry you didn't get to watch it because that was amazing. We'll have to watch it another time together. But thank you so much for joining Two Texas Lobsters React. We got a lot of great things in store. We've got special guests coming. We're almost at 100 subscribers. But if you have not already, please subscribe. Ring the notification. Yes,
like
please.
And share. We
really count on that. That's what drives us forward. We love it when you make comments. I have responded to every single one of them. Keep them coming. The little crab here loves you guys too. We will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.